Welcome back to the Black Woman Be Whole podcast. We're your hosts, Anisha, Markia, and Kim. And this is actually Anisha speaking, right? I didn't even introduce myself. I'm a little all over the place, guys. We are doing this on a Sunday afternoon, and I didn't go to bed until like 5 o'clock in the morning, up watching TV with my dad. Okay, go to sleep. But here we are, podcast time. We are three Black women working on being whole. We are on episode 8, and things is about to get real today. I got to tell y'all, we are talking about unpacking the strong Black woman trope because Black women are not your mules. I couldn't even get that out. That's how stressful it is being a Black woman. We
Oh,
are not your mules, okay? But before we get into that, right, we always have to do our little check in. So, ladies, what are y'all working on right now? Like this week, what's going on? What are we working on? We always working on something, right? So, what are we working on this week? Markia, what you working on?
I'm working on recovery from vacation. Had a great time. Got to meet some of my online friends. So definitely a good time. Definitely wasn't anyone strong Black woman out there. It was definitely strongly
hmm.
relaxing by that pool. So yes.
Was you thirty-licious? I want to know, girl.
Just a little bit. Nothing too
Oh,
crazy. Nothing too
you.
Yada yada
crazy.
yada 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 yada
Hey.
yada.
Yes, I was on my Meg, had my knees like Megan out real quick. But it was a good time and much needed break for sure. What about you,
Love
Kim?
it. I we're working on some stuff because we were just in Atlanta and we had a little shenanigans going on. The three of us, the three girls, and our little sidekick buddy Mason, godson of the year, my
Aw.
kid BFF. So, we got the chance to see some folks and hang out and celebrate a big milestone birthday for someone. But it was also really nice because I think the three of us, Nisha and Nisha, we worked on our friendship and, just kind of caught up in conversation, and we really haven't been able to just be together, the three of us, or have a moment. And I highly urge girls, get your girls together, and do your girl trip or your girl brunch or whatever, because those things sustain you. So it sounds like we had the same kind of experience. I didn't have a that delicious experience off at a pool and stuff, but you know, inshallah, as they say, it'll happen real soon.
Yes, a Black Woman Be Whole retreat on the road
Yes,
in the
we need
sun.
that. It's some time. We need that. We're gonna be
Yeah,
all vaccinated up out here.
yeah. What
What am
about
I
you,
working
Nisha?
on? All right, so I need to be real honest. I'm having some issues with retail therapy right now. I think that because I haven't been outside much, um, when I do go outside, I end up in somebody's store. Now, I don't always spend a ton of money. I definitely don't live outside of my means. It's nothing crazy, but it feels like I always want to buy something nice. Like, I don't know if I am obsessed with just looking real cute once I do go back outside. So I keep picking up stuff like, oh, that's a cute jumper. Ooh, look at that purse. Oh, that's cute. Oh, I need a new bathing suit. How many bathing suits do you need, Anisha? I bought 5 new bathing suits last week. What is this about? So, yes, I am working through what is going on with me that I continue to need new cute stuff because I no longer have room for it. So now that is going to be a part of the therapy sessions because we should discuss the fact that I don't have any room for any more new clothes, but I always seem to purchase something. And I don't even know if I got anywhere to go, but in my head, the summer's going to be lit. So that's why I buy it.
You gotta
That's what
stay
I'm working
ready.
on. I'm trying to get
Yeah,
my
now
shit together.
see,
So you don't got
we
to get
Pinterest.
ready. I stay ready.
Be
I
ready.
got my own Pinterest in here. I mean, I got stuff all like it's getting
Yeah.
crazy. Yes.
You gotta
Oh,
make
and
a
real quick,
page, an
I
unboxing
am.
page.
I'm oh, like Ryan, like the little kid who unboxed all the toys who's a damn millionaire.
Yes.
Yeah. For
No, but
real.
what I am working on is being okay with my decision that I no longer need 4-inch heels. I've always been a heel girl. I mean, I don't play when it comes to the heels. Even if my feet hurt, I'm a lady all night long. Like I'm gonna keep those heels on. And I was like,
Pinky
I
toe
think I
be
might be a
burning, don't
sneak.
care.
I don't care. I'm a lady all day, every day. That don't stop. The conditioning. Here we go. So I bought cute sneakers. I'm thinking that I'm gonna wear my cute dresses with sneakers. Hold on. That's a whole new thing. I went out to dinner with somebody and it was like, oh, you got sneakers on with your little skirt? Oh, you look cute. I said, yes, I think that the pandemic has taught me something. Comfort is important.
Welcome to
Yes,
my world, girl.
yes.
Okay.
I'm in a new space. It's hard though.
Hey.
You better give
It's
us Wendy
hard.
Williams. You better give us
It,
Wendy
oh,
Williams.
Wendy stayed with me. Happy
Wendy got
photo.
bunions. Did she got bunions or something?
No,
Cause
she
you
has
know.
lymphedema. She can't wear the shoes anymore because of the
Oh,
swelling. So she had to switch it up.
ooh, Wendy. I'm sorry, girl.
I'm trying to
Mm.
divorce from my heels, my 4-inch heels. We trying to go through a trial separation right now. Not a full divorce, but a trial separation. Yes.
You might leave, girl.
Yes.
You
So
might
that's where I'm
leave.
at. That's where I'm at. I'm
Well,
trying.
here's to change
Okay.
for the better. I mean,
Yeah.
listen, here's the thing. Like, if you be messing up the pinky toe when you're 60, that little toe gonna overlap on all the other toes, look like monster toes. It'll be like three instead of five. You're gonna be
You
mad.
see
Cause
those
I
old
know you
ladies and
yeah,
you be like, you was the shit in your heyday, wasn't you? Wasn't you, grandma? That's why your feet look like that.
she was in them streets with them shoes.
Can't breathe. Stop. I'm asthmatic.
You better stop playing. Like, I want my toes to go straight. Okay. I don't want them to have a little gangster lean.
Lean
Overlap.
back. Lean.
No, okay, I gotta tell y'all this story. So a long time ago, my neighbor, rest in peace, Pat. It was my birthday, and he took me to go get a manicure and pedicure. He was like, "What are you doing?" So I was like, "Oh, it's my birthday. I didn't really plan anything when I lived down in Host Kitchen." He's like, "Come on, let's go. I'm going to Blue Means, go to get my pedicure and manicure." I was like, "Oh, thank you, Pat." He's like, "Then we'll go to lunch." Great. We get there. I'm sitting next to him. He's getting a pedicure, and he's got those kind of feet that I'm talking about. And I saw the lady like lift up his one toe so that she could get to the other toe, and she was holding that toe and like just filing that other nail down. I was like, "This is the worst fucking experience ever."
Can't breathe.
Really wanted to
I gotta
leave.
mute
I was
myself.
so mad because it was my birthday. And how do you like tell somebody like I don't want this anymore? Like I want to leave. And I could not stop looking at the pedicure they were giving him because it was so fucking gross. That just brought me back to a memory that I really don't
My jaw hurts from laughing right
that shit away again. But I was like, it was the way she was holding it. Like she was really holding the toe up, but she could get the other toe. Like it was like, what? Going on here? So, your
now.
feet, ladies, take care of your feet. Wrap them
FYI,
up.
I've already had one bunion surgery.
Oh
Okay.
no.
In my early 30s. It's been real. I've been wearing heels since I was in the ninth grade. Okay, let me be very clear about this. This
Mm.
thing started early in life. Who told me what a woman was supposed to be? Somebody told me she had to wear heels. I don't know where I got that message, but message, and I got it, and I've been going ever since. I'm done now.
Listen, the ball of my foot start burning off them damn shoes. Come, I can't function. End of the
Patty LaBelle
story.
kicking him off.
You're doing the dance too.
So can
But
I just
that's
say that
it.
I love the black girl joy before we get into the heavy topic, right? Like I love all the laughter and all the joy that's coming up before we start talking about the strong black woman bullshit that we do.
Hello.
Okay. Everybody's okay? Everybody's
Yes,
ready? We've
we're
Good.
back.
regrouped.
Good. We good.
Okay. So if we're talking about like the strong black woman trope, right? How it is impacting us. And I actually believe it's a negative impact. So, but before we even get there, like I really want to start with like, what's the first time that you kind of had to demonstrate that strong black woman thing? Who wants to start? Marquia, Kim, who wants to kind of get into this? When was the first time that you kind of had to demonstrate it? What was that like for you?
I'll go. I think. Hmm.
Okay, which I didn't see was Kim was waving her hand like she was
Okay.
present, and she was telling the teacher like I want to go, and Marquis and I are like just go ahead, but
Well,
okay,
y'all couldn't see me. I just wanted to make sure. Listen.
okay,
So we
go
don't
ahead,
have
girl.
overlapping audio, apparently.
Ooh,
Um, no, I think it started at a very young age, you know. I think the first time that I had the strong black woman trope being demonstrated to me was when I observed, you know, my mother and my aunts like just really taking care of like everyone to the point of exhaustion. Like they were always tired, it seemed like. And you saw like just them for me, like I just it felt like I saw them just working really hard and trying to make ends meet because it was a very weird time. Like, you know, my mother and her three sisters, three of the husbands died. My dad skated out because he was like, you know, he thought he was next in like his mind because he watched all his brother-in-laws died. But like these women were left with all these kids to take care of. And so I learned how to be a caretaker, which I think is a subset of the strong black woman trope. And when I was like 9, my younger brother was born, and I basically became a second mother. Like I was watching him. I was getting up in the middle of the night and changing diapers at 9 years old, and you know bottles and this and that. And so you know, I think that's also part of the reason why I don't want kids because I went through that parenting experience as a young person, but that conditioning to be a strong black woman and you know show up no matter what I saw it being demonstrated by you know women that I looked up to. And now that I look back at it now, I was like, yeah, that's what I was supposed to be. So it was something that was aspirational because that was the only thing I saw. I didn't see anything different. And so I think that's how the conditioning works. Like it's reinforced, like, yeah, that's who I'm supposed to be. Like that's my model. And so you know, it still sticks with me today in various aspects of life and relationships. And so that's something I'd like to, you know, work on because I think it's important, you know. What about you,
um,
Markia?
I would say I don't know if I ever realized that it was actively modeled, if that made sense, but I did realize, like, from being in a predominantly white high school and going on to college, um, that the expectation was that like black girls didn't emote and like you were just expected to handle things, and like people were always like, oh, you're so intimidating or you're so angry, and it's like, no, I'm sad, or no, I'm just crying because I cry a lot. Like those are the
Right.
things, and people would just be so shocked, like, you black woman, you have feelings, what is that? Or even like, you know, I don't know, again, I don't know if my parents consciously knew that it was like modeling that, but my dad always be like, stop being so sensitive, stop crying, like stop having, what is going on with your headset, girl? Uh, but it always
We
be like
having technical difficulties over there.
I am.
it does not want to stay on. But it'd be like, don't cry, like stop crying, stop being so emotional. And I don't know if having a response, right, if crying is necessarily being emotional, or if you're reacting to an experience that you have feelings about. And even at this point in my life, I think I think I'm very aware of, like, I think the episode we put out last week, I was like crying on it, and I was so mad when I listened back to the episode because like, why the fuck are you crying for all these people to listen? Get it together. And I was like mad, and then like I started to cry because I was mad at myself for crying, like it's a
Damn it.
never ending loop. But yeah, so I think those were my first experiences that now I guess I can identify as an adult of what it meant to be strong or what we had to deal with.
So when I think about the strong black woman identity, I'm thinking it's all about kind of taking on numerous roles while suppressing your emotions, right? Like, you know, and then you have to have like this determination to like achieve like all the goals despite having limited resources and kind of limited consideration of self-care. And I think that for me, again, my mom, my grandma, my mom has 7 children. So like she was always working. Either outside of the home or in the home, right? And I looked at her like she didn't have many choices. The only choice was to get it done, and she did, right? And so I remember for me, I think I was like 24. I was in graduate school, and it's my first round of graduate school. I've had 2 rounds. So the first round, I had 2 part-time jobs. I remember I had my own apartment. I was going through a breakup with my high school boyfriend. So at this point, I'm like 24. High school boyfriend. It's been like 8 years. Um, and I remember I just couldn't control my emotions. Like I was all over the place because I was just so overwhelmed. Like I was just overworked. Like I was tired. Um, and I remember like I was the first one in my immediate family to go to like graduate school. So like this was a big deal. So I knew I had to succeed, which meant like I had to get good grades. I wanted to prove myself to my family. Um and even a harder part that I didn't know if I wanted to talk about today, but I remember my dad had just got out of the jail. And I remember I was trying to support him, right? So we would talk like 3 times a week on the phone. Um, and I remember like I was trying to be everything to everybody, right? Like I was trying to be a good student. If I'm one of 7 kids, I'm trying to be a good sister, a good aunt. I'm trying to be a good friend. But I never questioned, should I try to do it all? You know what I mean? Like it was just something that like I just looked at my life like I had no option. So I just had to do it all. And so again, it's like taking on all of these roles and suppressing the emotion, because once the emotion comes up, that kind of can lead you down a very different road, right? Like I talk to clients and it's like sometimes it feels like Black people don't have the luxury of being depressed, right? Because then it becomes a domino effect. If I sit in my feelings, I might get so sad that I can't get out the bed. If I can't get out the bed, for me at that time, that meant you can't go to class. That can mean you can't go to work. That means you fail out of school. That means you can't pay the rent. Like all of these things that come from there. And so like I didn't feel like I had a choice. I just had to do it all. And I think that that strong Black woman trope makes you feel like you have to do it regardless of the circumstances. Like if you got limited resources, whatever it is, if you never check in and take care of yourself, it don't matter. I got to be everything for everybody. And I learned how to do it early. And I was in my 20s, but I'm pretty sure that being one of 7, I was taking care of kids similar to you, Kim, pretty early because there's 3 children under me. And one of them was a set of twins. And I remember wherever I went, they went. Like it was one of those things. Those your little sisters and brothers. You take them with you. Well, shit, where I got to we'll take them to the park with you. While I'm going to my friend, we'll take them to your friend house with you. And it's like again, there is no. It feels like there's no consideration for what you want. Sometimes it's just about what needs to get done. Um,
Mm.
yeah. And when we say I'm not your mule, and that's what it felt like. I felt like I had to do all of these things for everybody else, and of course, some of it was for me too. But I didn't even really know how to differentiate what was for me and what was for others. I just knew I had to do it.
Well, I think when you were talking about that, like it made me think about like suppressed rage and anger, because how much did we have to stuff down when that
Mhm.
thing was first demonstrated to us? Because I'm very sure that when you're asked to do something that you don't want to do, or that's being put upon you, you do have a reaction to it. And then
Yeah.
that's what, and then it just gets reinforced through words, deeds, whether it's punishment or reinforcement, positive reinforcement. Like, you're doing such a good job, you're being such a good helper, or it could be a little belt action, like, I told you take care of your brother, take the chicken. You like, yo, damn. Okay, wait a second now. Hold on. Because when you think about that, how the stereotype is reinforced, because your first reaction would probably be like, no, I don't want to do that. And then there comes some action or some words to help you understand, no, this is what you're going to be doing. And I think, some of that, we sometimes we get, when we're angry, we do things like to retaliate in little ways. But I think because we can't emote, because we don't have the choice to say no, because it is something that we must do. And you demonstrate it and you do it, but you're not, it's something that's put upon you.
You're not feeling it though, right? Like again, like you got to suppress the feeling, because if I felt my feelings, I might actually say no. I might actually not do any of it. So I can't feel my feelings, right? Because even if I'm angry that I have so many responsibilities, so what? It has to get done. You can't really think about it. And so I hate when people are like, oh, you so strong. And I'm like, yo, what does that mean? Do you think I want to be strong? Like, let's be clear about this strength thing. Like, are y'all out here telling white women you so strong?
Hell no.
No, y'all checking on their mental health and asking them, do they need help? And if they're okay. But
And
for
if they're
us, it's like,
crying, you're
no, do it
consoling
all.
them.
Yeah. There's no consoling. It's like put your big girl panties on. It's so many toxic things that we say to each other that we don't even realize, the whole man up and all of that. Like, yeah, no, I don't want to be strong all the time. I
Yeah.
really don't. I wish I had a different option actually.
And it kind of conditions you to start believing that you're not allowed humanness. You're not allowed to
Mm.
have
Woo!
these soft moments. You're not allowed to be dainty, because how dare you? Like, what do you mean that you need a moment? You have to save the world. Look at the Michelle Obamas. Look at the Stacey Abrams. Like, Michelle Obama was the whole first lady of the United States of America, and the whole anytime that she showed emotion, attacked.
Attacked. I mean, like,
Homegirl stole her whole speech. Oh, the former alleged first lady, the other
Maria.
lady,
Mhm.
stole her whole speech, was out here co-signing all of her husband's hateful rhetoric, and people were like, oh, be nice to her, she's going through things.
right.
And it's just, we're not allowed that by other people, and even in our own community
Sometimes in our own
sometimes.
community. Yeah.
Yeah. um which is, again, like we talked about in the last episode, why we created the space we did, because we need a space to be our full and whole authentic selves. But we're just oftentimes, as Black women in particular, if a man's listening, men too, sure. But Black women are just not afforded that, which should not be a luxury, but a luxury. We're not afforded that.
Yeah. And then we feel obligated to put on that strong face, because if you show vulnerability, then you're weak. Then you're not a woman. Then you're not a Black woman. Then you're not doing your job, or you're not upholding the the trope, or kind of like the legacy, because everybody else in your family was able to do it. Why not you? And you're like, well,
Right.
damn, like things are different. People are different. Like that's not the way this works, and that's a really hard thing to break away from, or it's a hard thing to be vulnerable,
And it makes
to
you
have a
think,
bunch of
what's
people who are
wrong
not
with me?
right.
Right.
So, as we're talking about how these things were first modeled to us, or how we first learned it, do you feel that that still shows up in your life today? Like, how is it showing up? Do you feel that it's, reflected in your relationships or in the workspace, how you show up? Do you want to talk about that, Anisha, especially being a therapist? I imagine that kind of are like the walking strong Black woman, because you're feeling is because you have to help other people get through what the fuck they're feeling.
The whole pandemic, babe. Like for real. I have to say though, one of my clients sent me a text one day and she said, thank you. Like, thank you for showing up for me like throughout this pandemic. And I know it had to be hard for you, right? Because I'm human and I'm going through the same thing everybody else is going through. But I was always there. Right. And so I feel like as a therapist, as a Black therapist who was in a pandemic, who also was here while we were dealing with a lot of racial injustice, which we normally deal with anyway, but things kind of got a little heightened in the pandemic, right? And so like I was dealing with all of that at the same time, but I was showing up. But I am grateful that I do go to therapy. Let me first say that. So I do have a space, but it was still very difficult. And so to your suggestion, like, yes, it was really hard for me because all of my roles were kind of just into right. Like, so I had to still be a therapist. I still had to be a wife, trying to be a good daughter. And we talked about last week, but I've become a caretaker to my father in the pandemic as well, right? Because he had 2 strokes. So he lives with me now, and I'm his primary caregiver. And so it's funny because I remember I did a Zoom call with my siblings when he was in the hospital and everything, and I said, "Hey, this is the situation. His mental health is being compromised in this rehab, and so like I think we should bring him home. What do you guys think?" Everybody said yes, y'all. But the thought is that I can handle it. Like you strong, like you good, like you. Did you ask me was I good? Or was I just supposed to be good? Right? So y'all realize I'm working from home. I'm a whole therapist to a lot of people. Like I'm a whole wife and an auntie. Like y'all don't think that this has been a lot for me? But again, I'm supposed to just be strong. Somebody else did it for somebody else, right? Like, so why can't you, Anisha? Why can't you do it? Just like every other person out here who's had to, take care of a family member, take care of a child, like all of the things, just do it. And so it shows up today and I do it. Again, I do it because I don't have the luxury to fall apart. No, he has to get taken care of. I got to get taken care of. The clients have to see me. Everything has to happen and I just do it. And I struggle with putting the label down and saying, you know what, I reject it. I don't know how to reject it, y'all. Like I can't front. I don't know how to reject the fact that maybe you can't do everything all the time. I still
I
try.
want to challenge you.
Yes,
Little
challenge me. I like
exercise.
that. Now let's do this. Come on,
What
I'm all here.
happens if you put it down? What would happen if you say, okay, on today, I'm going to potentially lessen my number of clients this day. I'm able to do XYZ thing for my dad today because I need to do this thing for myself today. What happens if you do something to take care of yourself and prioritize yourself? Wouldn't everyone ultimately benefit from that? Wouldn't everyone ultimately benefit from getting the best version of yourself, including you?
Yes, and everything won't fall apart. And so what I've done is I do a boot camp class 4 times a week because that is my self-care now. Because I was like, there was something that I felt like I needed, and that was my stress relief. I feel good, like I'm moving, like all of the things. And so I figured out how to get it in my schedule no matter what. Like, oh yeah, no, I can't see this person at 6 o'clock because oh no, boot camp is at 6. And it's interesting, Marquia, because you modeled that, right? Like we'll be like, oh, can we have this meeting? And you'll be like, oh no, my workout is at 11 a.m. Like we can't have this meeting, y'all, because I'm prioritizing. And so like I'm learning, I'm getting better at prioritizing my physical health, was actually helping me prioritize my mental health. So by going to these boot camps, it's been amazing. But I also had to wait for the weather to be better. So in the winter, I was on the struggle bus. But now that it's warmer outside and I'm able to go outside. But you're right. Like and I think I continue to have this conversation all the time around like, what if you saw less clients, Anisha? Like, what if you actually just took off and didn't see anybody while you're on vacation? Why are you on vacation seeing clients? Like, why can't you just detach? And it's something that is still a struggle, but I'm definitely working on it. But it still shows up in my life today. I think it's gotten a little bit better because before I didn't know what self-care was. I do know what it is now. But I preach it, but like, am I really
Practice.
living it? That's a whole other
Where's Barry
situation.
White? Practice what you preach, girl.
Come
Ah,
on.
girl. It's so interesting. I'm so glad, Marquis, you did that because when Anisha was talking, I really thought about like the fact that we cling to our labels.
Hmm.
Being the person that people can rely on. There is something about that you can hang your hat on. Like, yeah, I show it for people. I'm this, I'm that, like da 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 da, like, because it's again that thing that was modeled for us or that we were told we needed to be. And we take pride and joy in those labels because we've been doing it for so long. So we buy into it. So it doesn't even need to be pushed on us anymore because we've internalized it and now we're doing it to other people. Like, why can't you do it? But like, there are a lot of people who take pride in that because honestly, that may be the only thing to be needed by people that you have in your life, especially I think for Black women, for quite a few people, they don't have a lot to sort of like, I don't want to say be proud of, but like being needed by people is something that we have been taught is, feels good. Like people need me. Like if I am not there, they can't get it done. Like, so sometimes we set ourselves up for that because it reinforces the identity.
Yeah.
As a person that struggles with that internally, the way to buck that, right? Because I'm a person that if I'm not feeling helpful, if I'm not useful, then I feel useless, right? Like, what am I doing here? I'm not helping anyone. I'm not doing anything. But everyone relying on you, sometimes you have to sit back and say, okay, where is this being reciprocated? Like, I'm doing everything for all of these people. My cup is always empty. How am I being helped through this? Who can I rely on? Who is pouring back into me so that I can pour back into them? So as I'm getting older, I start to question it. Like, why am I doing this? Why am I running myself ragged? Bitch, you wouldn't go help me. Like, you're not going to do that for me. And everything isn't necessarily tit for tat, right? It's not always, I'll do this for you to do it for me, but you can't keep doing everything for everyone and then you have nothing for yourself. Person that had a mental breakdown, y'all, I'm telling you from experience, like, this is where I had to be forced to have those boundaries and to have those pieces to say, if I am not doing everything from everyone for everyone, that does not make me any less strong. That does not make me any less useful or helpful. It means that I am making sure that I am okay because I cannot do shit for any of you if I'm not good.
And it's an unsustainable identity. And that's the
Mm,
part that we don't talk about.
this shit'll grind you down and kill you.
Right.
Send
I
you to
Literally.
mean,
the
it's causing
hospital.
us to overeat, overthink. People are developing addictions, anxiety, depression, right? All because of this identity that has been pushed on us for so long. We don't know how to step away from it, right? And, as a therapist, I know like Black women, we are suffering from anxiety and major depression at numbers that you wouldn't even think. And it's because we're not identifying it. We're not actually acknowledging it and saying it, right? That, oh, I have depression. Oh, I have anxiety. But we have it. It's because we're trying to be all to everyone. And what are we being for ourselves? It's falling by the wayside. And I think that that is the hard part of it all.
We're depleting ourselves.
Yeah.
It's just, and it's terrible because when, when someone falls, who is the person carrying all the burdens, other people fall and then they don't necessarily have the skills or the tools or the experience, to take care of themselves or to do those things that this person was doing. So it has a domino effect, especially in the community. If you're doing all the emotional labor of yourself, your family, and other friends, there's a lot of people who are not showing up in the community to help, the village.
Yeah. And I think about like this whole repressing of emotions. Um, it's like created a culture of silence, right? Because our pain kind of remains unnamed, unknown, untreated, and things only get worse because we're not talking about it, which I think is why one of the reasons why we decided to talk about it on the podcast today. Because we're like, nah, we got to talk about this. This is a real thing, right? Like, we can't keep being silent about all the things that we go through because what happens is the silence is considered the strength, right? Because once you start talking about it, that's when people are like, oh, she weak. She going through this. She dealing with that. She dealing with this. Like, if our ancestors dealt with slavery, why can't we get a little anxiety and depression and be all right? Well, I'm not our ancestors. And actually, I can talk about my feelings in a way that my ancestors could not because
Yeah.
nobody cared what they thought or what they felt. They were expected to just do. And so we have to realize that we don't have to just do anymore. Like people do care what we think and people do care what we feel. We just need to tell people. We just need to ask for help because there is someone out here willing to help, but you got to tell them that you need it. But if you're trying to hold it all up on your own, then I can't help you, Marquis, because you never told me that you needed help.
Well, I wonder if the people that are listening when you're venting or expressing yourself and categorizing it as weak are doing that because they're projecting because they're unable to express themselves, right? You're weak because how dare you talk about what you're going through? I'm not talking about what I'm going through. I'm just dealing with it and having a breakdown, but you're talking about it, but also still being effective. That's the part that people don't talk about when you talk about your feelings, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
yes, I'm venting about this, but I'm also still getting shit done. Two things can be true at the same time. I could be mad, I could be over it, I could cry, and I could still get this shit done, but I'm letting you know that it is hard. And
But the
I think,
strength is in the vulnerability, right? That's
right.
where the real strength is.
And that's where people get upset when they're like, oh, you're just complaining, you're being weak. No, you're just mad, you're pressed because you can't talk about what you're going through. Don't project that on me. So we both supposed to be up in here maybe that's not politically correct. Up in here having a break.
Damn, we been, ooh, we gotta work on our correctness over here. Me last time, you this time. Okay, Markia.
But the conditioning, right, of how we view things.
Right.
All right.
Yeah. It takes a while to let go of some of this stuff. This stuff has been with us for a long time. We are full-fledged adult women. How long have we been hearing some shit that is politically incorrect?
Right. But at least we're catching it and
Yes.
acknowledging it.
No, of
We're
course. And that's what's important.
right?
That's what's
Yeah.
important. But some stuff stays with you, right? And so it's up to you to continually try and change it. But it does kind of take time.
Yeah.
So I think it's interesting. We've brought up a couple of things. So I really kind of want to talk about, so what kind of support do Black women and girls like need from their friends and their family? Like, because I think that's important that we talk about support and what it looks like so people that are listening to this can know, like, okay, these are things that you can ask for. Like, this is what support could look like for you.
I think it starts with modeling behavior, right? Especially with girls. Like I work in a middle school.
Mm-hmm.
So, they do watch what you do. They may not act like they care, but they're very cognizant adults around them are doing. I had a student that was like, I'm so happy that we have so many teachers in the school that look like me. So with that statement, they're watching. So modeling it, saying like, I'm having a bad day today, or this is causing me stress, or I'm struggling with this, and this is how I'm handling it, to let them know it's okay to acknowledge that there's a struggle, but also, if you're going to push through it, acknowledging that you're also doing that. And it's okay. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. If they're crying, let them cry. Don't say like, don't cry. What are you crying about? Like, their feelings are valid. Let them have their moments. Sometimes you just need to fucking cry. And then
that's right.
keep it
Normalize
pushing.
emotions. That's where there you go, right? Like, I think that's a huge one. Feel your feelings, damn it. Whatever they are. We gotta normalize emotions, all of them. And not just anger. It feels like anger is the one that is everybody's like, oh, I get that. She angry.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm sad. I'm frustrated. I am disappointed. Like, there's a lot of feelings that I'm having that we're not talking about, but we got to start normalizing it. And at that early age, don't tell nobody not to cry. What's wrong with you? No, feel your feelings. If you angry, say that too. If you got straight rage, that's fine as well. These are all normal. We all have them as humans. But we should have the luxury of actually naming it and talking about it and sitting in it.
Yeah.
So we got to stop repressing. That's what we got to do. Got to stop repressing.
I think we also have to really understand the words, getting, talking about politically correct, incorrect, calling girls fast and, really sort of judging girls and women for exploring their sexuality. But also, I think physical violence against women and girls, bring a lot of things about, but along with that are words, so sometimes words and actions go together, and you're expected to take that because, I'll give you something to cry for, those are the things that condition us to be strong. Like, you're supposed to take these things. And I think families have to be very careful about the things they say to girls, because you're reinforcing patriarchy, as well as, misogyny, misogynoir, all of this shit that you're saying to these girls. Don't be this, don't be that, because this, and that. And then you just go, well, what can they be if they
Right.
can't explore, or if they make a
Can't be
mistake?
curious. Hmm.
If they make a mistake, lots of girls get like kicked out or something, just for like something that they didn't know about because of ignorance, because you didn't teach them. So I think really for me, communication about stage of life things is very important, and compassion for
Yeah.
us.
And don't dismiss or diminish the experience of a Black woman, right? Again, allow us to be vulnerable about our mental health. Listen to our needs. As a therapist, normalize therapy. Like which actually is also normalize asking for help, right? And normalize, again, like last week we were talking about safe spaces, having these spaces to kind of talk about things. And I think that for me as a therapist, I noticed that like when Black women come to see me, it can be difficult in the beginning to have a whole 45 minutes just about you, because they're not always used to having a space where they can talk about what's going on. And they're like, I feel like I'm complaining. And I'm like, you're not complaining. This is your life. You should be able to talk about how the things that happen in your life make you feel. And it's like, well, I feel like I'm gossiping about this person. No, you should be able to talk about how people impact you, right? You're just talking about how your family impacts you. That's why you're talking about them. It's nothing wrong with them. I mean, excuse me, it's nothing wrong with talking about the people in your life. And so again, normalizing having safe spaces to unpack what's going on, our day, our week, the things that ail us, the things that pain us, the things that make us happy. One of the questions I always ask my clients is, what brings you joy? Because we're able to talk about the bad stuff, right? Like, I'm like, no, I want to hear about the good stuff too, right? Because the other stuff, it weighs us down a lot. I want us to be able, again, the full range of emotion, the
I
joy
would
as well as the pain.
Sorry. I would also add to that, normalize hearing what people are saying to you, right?
Mm,
If I'm telling you I'm hurting, don't tell me, well, girl, you shouldn't be.
right.
Did I ask a question or did I say I'm having a bad day? Like, I don't, I'm confused why you're confused. I don't think there was a question mark at the end of that. I didn't say, how do you feel about me feeling this way? I just want you to just hear me. And I think that oftentimes we look to offer solutions, right? So similar to
Mm-hmm.
what you're working on last time of not offering opinions, right? Like sometimes you gotta listen and hear what the person is saying and let them feel their feelings, and that's okay. Like you can feel whatever you feel, go to your therapist and talk about that shit in your session. But if we're friends and I'm telling you that something's upsetting me, don't try to rationalize why I should not be upset about what it is, because everyone goes through things or whatever bullshit you're going to say that's going to make the situation worse.
I think we don't have frameworks to help us communicate with people, and
Mm-hmm.
so we rely on these terrible ways of doing things, which are not rooted in any sort of healing or therapeutic communication. You just don't know what to say, and so you say something, and it impact and intention, as we talked about last time. I think is it's very hard for people who don't have familiarity with how um, to do it well. And you got a lot of people who have very stunted emotional kind of upbringing, bringing up other people or impacting others, and you're just like, oh God, you're just spreading it because what else do they have? And that's what's been modeled for them.
No, I definitely agree with that.
I guess so is the framework about how do you ask for help? Um, as a friend or family member, whoever, how do you listen? Right? And not give your opinion or your thoughts. How do you listen? How do you ask someone, how can I support you, before you decide how to best support them? How do you ask? And maybe
I
that's the starting point.
I ask just like that. People will tell me things and I'll say, okay, so what does support look like for me in this time? Cause one, I don't want to fuck up and say some shit like say she's going through a breakup. Fuck that nigga, and that's not what you wanted to hear. Now I done
Right.
fucked up. Now you don't want to tell me anything ever
Now
again.
you back with him, and I don't like that.
Right. And you're like, oh,
I
wait.
done
So
messed
you
up.
love him. Okay, great. My bad. So I'll say, what does support look like? Are you telling me this because you want to vent, or do you want my opinion? Always
Right.
ask before you offer the opinion. Cause like, you want my opinion? And if they're like, no, all right, bet. Heard. My role is just to listen. Cool. But you also have to, it goes back to the safe spaces, right? You have to get comfortable with the people around you to be able to have those conversations, and also for your friends to know, like, all right, so is this so we done, or you just mad today? Okay, cool. So I think that's a very important.
Yeah, it is. I think it highlights a deficit sometimes in our community where we lack the skills to support each other in a way that's really affirming and life giving. And it starts with communication.
Yeah.
And the words we use. Like, let's start getting rid of some of these phrases like fast ass girls, or just these things that are just that reinforce these negative stereotypes, or that give people ideas about how they're supposed to be or who they're supposed to aspire to be, because that's just what Black women are. Like, we're angry, we're the strong Black women, we got all these like shitty roles that we're supposed to uphold and not complain about. Man, fuck that. Don't be over here calling me all the time expecting me to come. I'm not Captain Save-A-Ho. I need the rest.
What's the
I ain't got
Canaanite
no money for
say?
you. Like, leave me alone. Leave
I'm
me
not
the
your
alone.
superwoman.
What's her name, Madison? Leave me alone. Want you
I think
to.
part of the issue is that strength is like the birthright of a Black womanhood, right? So that's an issue. But
Damn.
so we gotta redefine it, right? In a way that it helps us and it not hurt us, right? Like, so how do we rewrite kind of that story of the strong Black woman that includes her prioritizing herself, maybe, right? Or her asking for help and her being vulnerable, right? Um, it's interesting because we are asked to mentally be strong, but we're not given the permission to engage in behaviors that preserve and support our mental well-being, like
Dude,
therapy and self-care. But
come
we're not
through.
given that, right? So we have to give ourselves the permission. And I think that if we talk about like, what do we want, listeners to hear, give yourself that permission, right? And other people in our lives then need to start to kind of reassess the unrealistic expectations that are put on Black women in service of others, right? Like, what unrealistic expectations are you putting on me so I can give you what you need? Do we need to start looking at that? And I
And
think
then so I
that is
could
going to be
tell you
important.
no. Because this is where
Right.
no also comes in. And we have very bad boundaries when we're strong Black women because we rush in to save the day. And our boundaries are bad. They're blurry. They're just not good. That goes hand in hand, I think.
That's the number one thing I work with people on in therapy is boundaries. I mean, number one, and I primarily see Black women, y'all, is boundaries. My boundaries is still a little damn shaky, and I teach people about boundaries, and my shit's still shaky as all hell. And I think that what really needs to happen is the people in our lives need to step their game up. So then we don't got to do as much. You step your shit up, please, please, please get better, so I can do less. I need some help over here.
And you know what? If until you get there, leave them on red and don't answer the phone call. Because guess if that's your only recourse for a while until you get it together, go ahead and do it. I don't care. I don't answer the phone sometimes. Like, oh, I look at the number like I'm not answering that. I know what that's about, and I let it go. But then I get into the cycle where I feel like I'm ducking calls because it's like, why you keep calling? What do you need? Like, text me because I don't want to talk to you because I'll get talked into stuff, and that's it.
And then you got to work on that, right? I mean, like, I can't get talked into things anymore, right? It's a collective effort, right? Like, we're, of course, as Black women, we have to make some necessary changes, but we also have to, if the people around us don't know, we have to teach them the changes that they also have to make. and maybe not to ask us to do things in the way that they have, or ask, just do more so we can do less. Maybe that's it. Maybe I
Mm.
can do less if you did more.
No is a complete sentence. And I think that you also have to prioritize the time that you set aside for yourself, again, with the boundaries.
Hmm.
The joke on the podcast is like, I will not take a meeting if I have a workout. And that is true. Like, I don't deny that. I've not gone to happy hours. I've been like, hey, friend, didn't do my workout yet. Maybe after. It might be 9 o'clock, but we could do it then. But that is when you set those boundaries, and like, now it's a situation where my friends are like, oh, you gotta do your workout. Oh, okay, girl. All right. Well, so like, I am important to me too. I have to show up for me too. So I guess I've gotten better at not being the strong Black woman. Like, mm,
So wait.
like,
So FYI, my workout today is from 2 to 3, and I'm on the podcast. Did I not know how to say, hey, Marquia's workout is in the morning, but mine is in the afternoon? How do both of us get to do our workout, but we still tape the podcast?
I wish you would have
Yeah, I
said
gotta get
something.
better.
I
Yes,
wish you
because
would
we
have
would
said
have made it
something.
work.
Yes.
Exactly.
I felt like I would have been asking for too much. That's so interesting. I felt like I would have been asking for too much because it was like, all right, now
No.
it's going to take us until later on in the evening,
We
and
could
I
have
don't
did
want to do
one
that.
and then
Came
jump
back.
back on and did another one. We didn't
Yeah.
have
So
to
yeah,
do it back to back. We
We
could have
respect
took a
boundaries
break.
around this piece.
What? Okay, you were a strong Black woman right there. We didn't need you to be.
it's okay because I've been icing those knees anyway after my workout, so maybe I
Oh,
needed a
you
day
got to
off.
get them Tootsie Roll knees together, girl. Come on now. You can't have a hot girl summer with
Ooh,
Tootsie Roll knees. That's
them
just
bogling knees,
disrespectful.
them old knees.
Just gotta build up them quads. Just gotta build up them quads. You'll be good. I'm telling you. We're gonna do a family workout with Lola one day. She
We
was
gotta
all
do
for it. I
that.
did tell her that, and she said she's waiting on y'all. So
We need a retreat with Lola. Lola, work us out, girl. I'm so glad we're talking about this because it's also in time for Juneteenth, and we talking about the strong Black woman trope and how it's so harmful to us as Black women, and how we need to bust that shit up.
And shout out to the fact that I live in New York City, and it was just like an ambulance outside, police cars. I know y'all heard it. I was like, I'm trying to mute myself, but I'm trying to talk over the ambulance and the police cars. But we started a podcast in the pandemic from home. And these are things that happen, y'all. We'll try to edit it out. It may or may not get edited. We'll have to see.
If it's there, ignore it. It's only a few seconds. So I feel like we've is there anything else we need to do here other than talk about tools and wrap it up? Any final thoughts about the strong Black woman trope?
stop all that strong shit. It's not healthy. Like, be strong in the areas that you absolutely need to be strong, aka things that are life or death. But if it's arbitrary shit, if it's your friends might get mad at you, fuck them niggas, yo. Like, if they're your friends, like, they're gonna understand that you need to take care of yourself. I'm sorry. Like, you you need to be okay for you. And if you are my friend, and if you are that pressed because I told you I couldn't take you to Macy's, or I couldn't answer the phone right when you wanted me to answer the phone because I don't know, bitch, I was on the toilet, like, then you need to work through that yourself. Like, your friend should understand boundaries. They should be able to understand spacing, and they should be able to understand that sometimes you just need a minute to yourself. And if they can't, they're not your friends and they're selfish, and break up with them.
I'm gonna
I
go
feel
with.
like these have happened to Marquia. She's speaking from
Does
experience.
this feel real personal? Taking somebody to Macy's? Like, okay, girl, I
It
hear
was
you.
very specific. I was like, okay.
Let me say this. Let's redefine strength, right? It doesn't have to look like what it has looked like in the past. And maybe it is about prioritizing you. Maybe it is about asking for help. Maybe it is about talking about your emotions and normalizing, asking people for more in your life and not feeling like you have to do it all. And maybe that's what being strong really is asking for help and not feeling like you got to do it all. So I'm okay with the word strong, but if we just need to redefine what it means to us, that's all.
Mm. I like what both of you said. I think like it's really important for someone who's feeling like all of the things that are contributing to the strong Black woman identity, like for you to just sit down and talk to people maybe about how it's impacting you. Because sometimes people don't know because we don't say anything. Like, I need you to understand that my health has been impacted by dealing with this thing with you. Like, because we
Mhm.
keep it all in and we don't let people see the pain and kind of like the aftermath of something that's happened. And sometimes when you tell people what's really going on, they are more inclined to change, or you have that heart to heart with them, they start to see it differently. But if you continue to just let it go, if it's usually like one directional, and people don't aren't allowed to like give back, that's a one-sided relationship. And so give some of that power away, because I think it is a power thing for some people to, I make decisions about other people, or like they come to me because they don't know any better. Like, listen, it's a power trip to be a strong Black woman. The bad side and the good side of it is like there's a dark side to everything, I think, you
Mhm.
know, and how we feel about it. But it is a power trip. Like, I control you, I give you money, you do what I tell you to do, or whatever. Or like you follow my directions because I know better than you. So I think really realizing that as well, but also having the strength to tell people how it's negatively impacting you will do a lot, depending on who that person is, if they really care about you.
And if you are a person that's on some power trip shit, again, the woo woo one here, how is that actually like feeding your soul, right? Like, what are you actually getting from being in control over other people, which in reality, you can't really control them? Like, people have free will. And then when they disappoint you, then what happens? Then you're mad. And then you feel like your world is crumbling around you because you tried to control something that was never in your control.
Okay, I want to speak to that because I do believe that when you think about the socioeconomic positioning of Black women,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
we're kind of at the bottom of the totem pole. You don't have power, you can't really affect change. And I'm not saying that that's not the case all the time, because
Mm-hmm.
women get shit done, and get a bunch of Black women together, we come through, we want to get some shit done. But when you look at it in relation to the larger society, for some people, this being the strong Black woman is the only way that they can exert some power or have some control over things. Because if you don't have control at your workplace, if you're the only Black person somewhere, or you making 60 cents on a dollar and somebody telling you what to do, or you're in a bad relationship, and there's spaces and places where you have control. And so while it may be seductive, but it also may veer into like a very like dark side. So I mean, I think there's that element as well.
Yeah, I think it's important to be curious. Your need to be needed,
Yeah.
because sometimes that plays a huge role in all of this. And
Mm-hmm.
also, I think that when you don't have power, or you don't have just agency in other parts of your life, right? Then it feels good to be needed, because now you feel like um, that it gives you an identity that maybe there is nothing else there, but you know that you are needed by others, and you can hang your hat on that. And so maybe it's about finding other things that you can hang your hat on.
I would agree with that because you don't want
Mm.
to operate from power in a space of ego, right? Because the ego is fragile. And if that's taken away, then there
Sometimes
goes
you
your
have nothing
power,
else.
right? So I would, never mind.
Tell it. Go ahead. Don't be scared.
No, I'm not scared. It's just I would just encourage people to find other ways that are intrinsic and not outside of themselves, to find power and things that can't ever be taken away from you, because the quote unquote power that you're wielding over someone else is very temporary. And once that's gone, then what's next? What do you have? What are you holding on to?
Yeah.
Mm. Damn, we done did the damn thing.
I bet you be reading, okay? Me and my Oprah Book Club's books, okay? I be reading over here.
I can't. I have the new Oprah book. What happened to you?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna get
One
that
about
next.
trauma. Yeah, I just got it, and I got the other book by what's her name? Tarana Burke and Brene Brown. You
Okay,
are
yep.
your best thing. Yeah, so I got both of those, and I was supposed to be on my vacation right now, and I'm not. And I was gonna read them in Mexico on the beach. So we'll figure
Black
out
Women
when
Be
I'll
Whole
read
book
them.
club? Are we doing a book club, guys?
Maybe we'll talk about that. I'm
Oh.
excited.
Please do it. I got some
Yes.
stuff too. Well, ladies, go ahead.
Are
Take
we
us
done
out,
for
somebody.
today?
I think we are. I
I
think
I
we
think
think
we
gave this a
are.
good thrashing.
Not a thrashing.
We thrashed that strong black woman identity. Like, get thee gone, Satan. All of it.
We ain't doing that whack shit no more. But no, this was fun, guys.
always.
Yeah, we do have a good time. But thanks everyone for joining us for yet another episode of the Black Woman Behold podcast. We hope you had as much fun as we did making this for you all. If you want to keep up with us and our shenanigans and all the fun things that we do, you can follow us on our Instagram page at Black Woman Behold. Same thing on Facebook. Check our link tree for any updates. We will be launching our 4-week course in the nearish future. We'll be launching our website. So you'll have even more ways to engage with us. We hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you next time. Later.
Bye.
Bye.